She didn't just win, she made a statement. The top seed, a former champion in this very city, stormed past yet another Russian star to book her spot in the final. Now Jessica Pegula stands just one match away from her second Washington title. But waiting for her is the biggest story of the tournament, a 21-year-old Filipina sensation who has already beaten 3 champions in 3 days. The final is set, the dream is alive, and the stage is ready for a showdown nobody predicted. She walked onto the court at the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center with a point to prove. And in just 1 hour and 15 minutes, Jessica Pegula delivered a message to the entire draw. The top seed is not going anywhere. The American star, who won her first career WTA title right here in Washington back in 2019, dismantled 5th-seeded Anna Kalinskaya with a clinical 6-3, 7-5 victory to book her spot in the semifinals. It was her 6th WTA semifinal appearance of the year, and it came against a player who had always pushed her to the limit. Their previous 4 meetings had all gone to 3 sets.
But this time, Pegula made sure there would be no drama. Since the beginning of the year, I'm finding more confidence in matches hitting different spots, Pegula said after the match.
I was focusing on that a lot today. The numbers tell the story of a player operating at a different level. Pegula won an astonishing 80% of her first serve points and 64% of her second serve points. She served 6 aces and faced just 1 break point, and that didn't even come until she was serving for the match at 6-3, 5-4. She's a tough opponent, and I'm always nervous playing her, especially at the end of the match, Pegula admitted. But there was no collapse this time. Even when Kalinskaya broke back to level the second set at 5-5, Pegula responded immediately, breaking right back and then serving out the match with a love game. I was always very tight when playing her, especially at the end of matches, Pegula said. This time, the tension was all on Kalinskaya's side. The victory improved Pegula's head-to-head record against the Russian to 5-1. It also marked her 3rd semifinal appearance in Washington, a tournament that holds a deeply personal meaning for the 31-year-old American. Because this is where it all began. This is where Jessica Pegula won her very first WTA singles title in 2019, the moment that launched her into the upper echelon of the sport. She has gone on to win 10 more WTA titles, including a WTA 1000 crown in Dubai this year. But Washington has always held a special place in her heart. Since the beginning of the year, I'm finding more confidence in matches hitting different spots, she said. And that confidence was on full display against Kalinskaya. What makes this run even more impressive is that Pegula came into Washington having already played an exhausting season. She reached the quarterfinals at Wimbledon before falling to fellow American Coco Gauff. She reached the final in Berlin, falling to Linda Noskova. She won the title in Dubai, beating Elina Svitolina in the final. She successfully defended her Charleston Open title earlier in the year. She has 35 wins this season and has become the most consistent player on the WTA Tour. But she shows no signs of slowing down. So now, Jessica Pegula has done exactly what the top seed is supposed to do. She has reached the semifinals without dropping a set. She has looked unbeatable. She has reminded everyone why she's the favorite to win this tournament. But standing between her and a spot in the final is an opponent she knows well. 4th-seeded Diana Shnaider, the 22-year-old Russian, who has been on a tier of her own. A player who is younger, hungrier, and has nothing to lose. And waiting in the final, if Pegula gets there, is the biggest story of the tournament. A 21-year-old Filipina sensation who has already beaten 3 champions in 3 days and captured the imagination of an entire diaspora. The stage is set for a showdown nobody predicted, and Jessica Pegula is ready to defend her kingdom. But will it be enough against the story of the tournament? While the world was watching Eala's historic run, another quiet storm was brewing on the other side of the draw, and her name is Diana Shnaider. The 22-year-old Russian, seated 4th in Washington, has been on a tier of her own, quietly dismantling opponents and positioning herself for the biggest result of her young career. Coming into this tournament, Shnaider had already established herself as one of the most dangerous rising stars on the WTA Tour. Ranked 16th in the world, she had reached the semifinals of the French Open earlier this year and won Olympic silver in doubles at the 2024 Paris Games. With 5 WTA singles titles already to her name, she has shown she knows how to win at the highest level. But it's her run in Washington that should have the entire tournament taking notice. Shnaider has dropped just one set en route to the semifinals, and she's done it against quality opposition. She opened with a dominant 6-1, 6-2 demolition of Austria's Anastasia Potapova, a former top 30 player who represents a new era of aggression on the tour. Then came the quarterfinal against her Russian compatriot Lyudmila Samsonova, and she made it look easy. The 6-3, 6-4 victory was a masterclass in controlled aggression. This match against Samsonova was especially impressive because of the opponent's reputation. Samsonova is a heavy hitter, a player who can blow anyone off the court when she's on. She's ranked 70th in the world, but she's a former top 20 player who has spent part of her life training in Italy and has a game built on raw power. Shnaider neutralized that power with something far more dangerous: consistency and movement. The key to Shnaider's game lies in her left-handedness and her movement. As one analyst noted, Diana has been excellent on the American hard courts, managing the match brilliantly against a great hitter like Samsonova. She used cat-like lateral movements to make her opponent play extra shots, a tactic that Samsonova struggled to handle. Her forehand was the decisive weapon, the shot that made the difference in the all-Russian showdown. This is Shnaider's 15th career semifinal at the tour level, and her 3rd this season. She has experience, and she has momentum. But what she doesn't have is a history success against players with the experience of Jessica Pegula. The head-to-head between Shnaider and Pegula is limited, but the data we do have suggests Pegula has the edge. In their only previous WTA meeting, Pegula won in straight sets. But that was 2024, a lifetime ago in tennis years. Shnaider has evolved significantly since then, making her a far more dangerous opponent. The contrast in experience is stark. Pegula is a seasoned veteran with 11 WTA titles, including a WTA 1000 crown in Dubai. She has been ranked as high as world no. 3, has reached 6 Grand Slam quarterfinals, and has won over 450 career matches. Shnaider, by contrast, is still building her resume. She has reached only 1 Grand Slam semifinal, the French Open this year, and hasn't yet won a title above the WTA 250 level. But here's the thing about young players with momentum. They don't care about resumes. They don't care about rankings. They only care about the person standing on the other side of the net. And Shnaider has proven she can beat anyone. The semifinal is set. Jessica Pegula versus Diana Shnaider. One is chasing a second title in a city she considers home. The other is chasing history. And waiting for the winner? The biggest story of the tournament. Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation who has already beaten 3 champions in 3 days and captured the heart of the entire DC Open. The stage is set for a blockbuster finale. The final is coming. And the dream of the entire Philippines rests on the shoulders of one young woman, who is ready to face whoever emerges from the other semifinal.
How will Shnaider handle the pressure of facing the top seed? Can Pegula defend her Washington kingdom, or will the young Russian be the one to steal the spotlight?
There are tournaments that players simply pass through, and then there are tournaments that become part of their identity. For Jessica Pegula, Washington, D.C. is the latter. This is where it all began. This is where a 25-year-old American, still searching for her breakthrough, lifted her very first WTA singles trophy in 2019. It was the moment that launched her into the upper echelon of the sport, and ever since, she has carried the city of Washington in her heart. Fast forward 7 years, and Pegula returns to the nation's capital as the top seed, the world number 3, and a player who has won 11 WTA titles, including a WTA 1000 crown in Dubai and the Charleston Open earlier this year. She has reached 6 Grand Slam quarterfinals. She has beaten the best players in the world on the biggest stages. She has established herself as one of the most consistent performers on the WTA tour. But Washington has always been different. Washington has always been home. I always feel comfortable here, Pegula has said. This tournament means a lot to me, and her performances here prove it. She has reached the semifinals of the DC Open 4 times in her career, and now she's one match away from a third final appearance. The journey to this semifinal was not without its challenges. Pegula opened her campaign against Magdalena Frech, and it was anything but easy. She dropped the first set 6-3, and her first serve percentage was a shaky 36% with 14 unforced errors. But champions adapt. She adjusted her game, found her rhythm, and won the next 2 sets without dropping a single game in the decider. The final score, 3-6, 6-3, 6-0. Then came Anna Kalinskaya, the Russian who had always pushed Pegula to the limit. Every single one of their 5 previous meetings had gone to 3 sets. In fact, they had played a memorable semifinal here in Washington back in 2019, a match that Pegula won en route to her first title. Every time we play, it's literally always 3 sets. Always crazy tough matches, Pegula admitted after her second round win. We've played so many times that we just laugh. We're like, oh, here we go again. But this time, something was different. Pegula arrived with a level of confidence she hadn't possessed before. Her serving was immaculate. She won 80% of her first serve points and 64% of her second serve points. She fired 6 aces and faced just 1 break point, and that didn't even come until she was serving for the match. Since the beginning of the year, I'm finding more confidence in matches hitting different spots, Pegula said after the Kalinskaya victory. I was focusing on that a lot today. The 6-3, 7-5 victory in just 1 hour and 15 minutes was a masterclass in controlled aggression. It was also a statement. Pegula was not here to play 3-set thrillers. She was here to dominate. Now, the world number 3 finds herself in the semifinals for the 4th time in Washington. She has won 11 career titles. She's chasing her 12th and her 2nd in a city that holds a special place in her heart. But standing in her way is a player who has never beaten her. Diana Shnaider, the 22-year-old left-hander from Russia who has been on a tier of her own. The head-to-head is 3-0 in Pegula's favor. The experience is on Pegula's side. The crowd will be behind her. But young players with momentum don't care about histories, and Shnaider has proven she can beat anyone. The stage is set for a blockbuster semifinal. Pegula is chasing history. Shnaider is chasing her first victory over the world number 3. And waiting for the winner? The biggest story of the tournament. Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation, who has already beaten 3 champions in 3 days and captured the imagination of an entire diaspora. The question is, can Pegula defend her kingdom? Or will the young Russian or the Filipina sensation be the ones to write their name into DC Open history? The semifinals are set, and the storylines could not be more dramatically opposed. On one side stands Jessica Pegula, the top seed, the world number 3, the 11-time WTA title winner who has been here before and knows exactly what it takes to lift the trophy in Washington. On the other side stands Eala, the unseeded Filipina sensation who has already beaten 3 champions in 3 days and captured the imagination of an entire diaspora. But before the final could be written, Pegula had business to attend to. She had to get past Diana Shnaider, a rising star who had been quietly dismantling opponents all week. The semifinal was a rematch of their clay court meeting earlier this season. In that match, Shnaider had pushed Pegula to 3 sets, winning 1 before the top seed ultimately prevailed. The Russian left-hander had momentum on her side. She had already beaten her compatriot Lyudmila Samsonova 6-3, 6-4 in the quarterfinals, reaching her 15th career semifinal and her 3rd of the season. But Pegula was a different player on hard courts, and she was playing in a city that holds a special place in her heart. I always feel comfortable here, Pegula has said. This tournament means a lot to me, and her performances here prove it. This is her 3rd semifinal appearance in Washington. From the very first point, Pegula's experience and precision were on display. She fired 6 aces, won 80% of her first serve points, and faced just 1 break point the entire match. Her service game was immaculate, a testament to the work she and her coaches Mark Knowles and Mark Merkline have put in over the past 2 years. Since the beginning of the year, I'm finding more confidence in matches hitting different spots, Pegula said after her quarterfinal victory over Anna Kalinskaya. I was focusing on that a lot today. The final score told the story of a player operating at a different level. Pegula dismantled Shnaider in straight sets, booking her spot in the final, her second championship match of the year and her third final in Washington. But the real story was waiting for her across the court, because Eala had just done the unthinkable. The 21-year-old Filipina had beaten world no. 10 Elena Svitolina for the second time in 2 months, the same 6-3, 6-4 scoreline. She had improved to 8-4 against top 10 opponents with the latest upset, and she had earned a date with 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka in the semifinals. Now, the final is set. A blockbuster showdown no one predicted, Jessica Pegula versus Eala. The contrast is stark. Pegula is the veteran, 32 years old, 11 WTA titles, a world number 3, and the woman who has been here before. She won her first career title right here in Washington in 2019, the moment that launched her into the upper echelon of the sport. That title really gave me confidence, Pegula has said. I didn't want to be someone who wins once and then that's it. Eala is the challenger, 21 years old, no WTA titles, but momentum that feels unstoppable. She has already beaten an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a world number 10, and now a 4-time Grand Slam champion in Naomi Osaka. She has climbed to a career-high ranking of no. 25 and is chasing a spot in the top 20 if she wins the title. I think I came in with a great mindset today, Eala said after her victory over Svitolina. I'm just at the beginning of this long process, and I'm really excited for what's ahead. But the final carries more than just ranking points. For Pegula, it's a chance to win a second title in the city that gave her her first. A full-circle moment that would cement her legacy in the nation's capital. For Eala, it's a chance to make history, to become the first Filipina to win a WTA 500 title, to break into the top 20, and to prove that her run is not just a flash in the pan. The stage is set. The final is here, and the entire Philippines is watching. Can the top seed defend her kingdom? Or will the Cinderella story of the tournament write its most dramatic chapter yet? And so, the stage is set for a final that nobody saw coming. On one side stands Jessica Pegula, the top seed, the world number 3, the 11-time WTA title winner who has been here before and knows exactly what it takes to lift the trophy in Washington. She won her first career title right here in 2019, the moment that launched her into the upper echelon of the sport. Now, 6 years later, she returns as the heavy favorite, chasing a second title in a city that holds a special place in her heart. On the other side stands Eala, the unseeded Filipina sensation who has already beaten 3 champions in 3 days and captured the imagination of an entire diaspora. She has defeated an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a world number 10, and now she has her sights set on the biggest prize of her career. The contrast could not be more stark. Jessica Pegula arrives at this final as the favorite. She has won 11 WTA titles. She has reached 6 Grand Slam quarterfinals. She has beaten the best players in the world on the biggest stages. And she has already proven that she can win in Washington. Since the beginning of the year, I'm finding more confidence in matches hitting different spots, Pegula said after her semifinal victory. I was focusing on that a lot today. Eala arrives at this final as the underdog. She has 0 WTA titles. She is ranked outside the top 20, but she has momentum that feels unstoppable. She has beaten every champion placed in front of her. She is playing with the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders. And she is thriving. The stakes for Eala are enormous. A victory would make her the first Filipina to win a WTA 500 title. She would climb into the world's top 20 for the first time in her career, a leap that seemed impossible just a year ago. She would cement her status as Asia's next tennis superstar and give the Philippines a hero for generations to come. But standing in her way is a woman who understands the pressure of finals better than almost anyone. Pegula has won in Washington before. She knows what it takes to handle the expectations. And she has the experience to navigate the biggest moments. There are so many things I've learned about what it takes to stay at this level and handle these tough players," Eala said after her victory over Svitolina. "But I'm just at the beginning of this long process, and I'm really excited for what's ahead. This final is more than just a tennis match. It's a clash of generations, a battle between experience and youth, a contest between a woman chasing history and a woman trying to write her own story. And it's happening in front of a crowd that has turned the DC Open into something far bigger than a tournament. The tickets sold out weeks ago. The Filipino flags will fill the stands. The chants of Eala, Eala will echo through the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center, and 2 women will walk onto the court with everything on the line. One of them will leave as a champion. The other will leave with the knowledge that they competed against the best. The final is set. The dream is alive, and the entire Philippines is watching. Who will write their name into DC Open history? The veteran who has been here before, or the young challenger who has already defied every expectation? The DC Open final is set for a blockbuster showdown that nobody predicted. Jessica Pegula, the top seed and 2019 champion, will face Alex Eala, the unseeded Filipina sensation who has beaten 3 champions in 3 days. For Pegula, it's a chance to win a second title in the city that gave her her first. For Eala, it's a chance to make history, to become the first Filipina to win a WTA 500 title, to break into the top 20, and to prove that her run is not just a flash in the pan. The stage is set. The final is here, and the entire Philippines is watching. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We bring you the biggest stories in tennis, drama, and emotion every single week. Don't miss what happens next.